got some things that I got to get off my chest today, and I'm going to share them on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by, and if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. Today is Friday, April 18, 2025. And I'm in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area today. It just works out to where I'm in Columbia today. But I just got the phone with an insurance customer of mine, and this particular customer has been a long-time customer of mine, basically since 2017. 2017. It's been that long. I've had other customers in my book of business that long as well. What we were talking about kind of hits on what I'm about to discuss in this segment, in that I've made some references, taken some shots at folk, but I've noticed where there have been people who've expressed their remorse and regret, and maybe even some levels of repulsion of having been caught up in the hype that some people have created in their content, when they're showing how you can make so much money doing this, owning and operating a Sprinter/Cargo Man. If you're on this app, or if you do this, and this, look at this money that I'm making. Yeah, you can do it too, and I'll show you how to do it, or at least you can do it. I'll leave it at that. And in their remorse, in their regret and repulsion, they're repulsed about the fact that they got caught up with the charisma of the content creator, the content creator's charisma, and how they made things look so good, and then you get caught up in the hype, and then you go out and make certain decisions where you may get a van, you may get on all these apps, and then reality hits. You're not making any money, but you've made this investment. Now, for me, this is not an opportunity to say that, hey, look at I can't do this. I have tried to be the steady hand in my content, in that I've tried to paint very realistic picture of doing things. I may not show all that I'm doing. I may not talk about all that I'm doing, but I am certainly a real person, in that there are people who have met me while I've been out doing this. I'm actually at a pickup location for a gig app opportunity. It's supposedly a relatively light item, maybe items, totaling 52 pounds, and the drop-off location is probably 12 to 15 minutes away from here. Now, today for me is like a Thirsty Friday. I'm calling it a Thirsty Friday because the first delivery opportunity that I've done today was one in which, in a different time and era, and I say basically 2 years ago, it would have paid 3, maybe 4 times more than what I accepted the opportunity for. And what I delivered was 25 bags of mulch, which you see here on the inset. 25 bags of mulch. That's how I stacked it in the van, in which I placed what I use for furniture blanket. I placed it on the floor so that no mulch would spill over, or mulch bags would get caught on the e-tracking. So that was I feel a smart move on my part. And then you see also where I tossed the bags out into a stack at the drop-off location. So now I'm waiting on this. So let me give you some examples of what I mean by folk selling you on the charisma, or selling you on misleading information. I see from time to time on various channels in which folk will say how to make X number of dollars in a day. Specifically, how to make $700 in a day, $800 in a day, $900 in a day, $1,000 in a day. Now, if you're trying to get into this space, you're trying to gather information and some type of understanding of what's going on. You're thinking that this person is making $800,000-$900,000 a day. God damn, if I can do that. If I could do that, man, if I just do $1,000 in 2 days, I could really improve my situation. That's 2 G's a week. That's over $100,000 a year. That's over $8,000 a month. Let's say about $8,500 a month. Yeah, man, I need to check out this channel. And you see this string of videos that come out, you're thinking that this person really knows what the fuck they're doing, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people out there who make 2 G's a week, who make $100K plus a year, okay? There are other people out there that do that. Now, if you check out the Get Geezer channel, hint, hint, Get Geezer's done that. The Get Geezer's earned over 100K, grossed over 100K each of the last 2 calendar years. The Get Geezer has earned over 2 G's in a week, multiple occasions. The Get Geezer's earned over $1,000 in a single day, multiple days. The Get Geezer have earned over $700, $800, $900 in a single day. But not once have I really gone around saying how to make $1,000 in a day. I've not done that, not a single time. You won't find a single thumbnail out there like that. It sounds good. It sounds sexy. But it may be misleading if you also check out their content. It's possible that what they've done is they say they made $1,000, but they made maybe high eight, max 900. They say they make 800 when they made 700 and change. But you're stuck. You're attracted to the headline, as I say, being a former newspaper reporter. You're looking at the headline, but you're not reading the story, or you're not following up on the facts that have been presented. So then you see enough of that and you're thinking, I'm gonna do what that person's doing. I gotta do what that person's doing. So you look into getting a van, and you think then that once you get a van, you may be able to make that type of, you're here now, I can make that type of money. I should be able to make that type of money in a single day, or in a week, or in a year. And there's been a spate of people who have come on various channels and have said how they felt that they bought the movie hook, line, and sinker, only to find out it ain't like that. It could be, but it ain't. It's not like that for them, because the information that they took as fact led them in the wrong direction. So that's part of this. That's part of this. That's part of this discourse that I have in this particular segment of the Get Geezer, calling out the bullshit. Calling out the bullshit, for example, as what I did 2 years ago when someone says in one video, you can make $91,000 a year owning and operating a Sprinter/cargo van, and then turns around and say, well, the trucking business stinks, it's dead. And when you're operating in the transport space, the operation of a Sprinter/cargo van is at the bottom of the totem pole. The next step, box trucks. After that is flatbeds. After that is your tractor trailers, your big shit, your big equipment. Supposedly in transportation, your tractor trailers earn the most money, but that's not always the case. Supposedly in transportation, there's a pecking order. There's supposedly this pecking order, so to speak. The larger the equipment, the more money that you're supposed to make, but that's not always the case, because you got dumbasses who take stuff for, they're just dumbasses. That's just a nice way of saying it. Now, some of you may be turned off by what I'm saying. I'm not going to apologize for what I'm saying. I'm just telling it the way it is. Okay, and I'm not saying that I am this definitive expert on things, because I don't have the type of experience in transportation or the delivery and transport space as I do as a writer, having been a reporter, having wrote for newspaper, having wrote for magazines, having written and published books. I've got extensive experience with that. I've got a total of 2 decades plus experience doing that. I don't have that type of experience, but I can tell you what I've seen so far. And again, I can tell you from an ethical perspective of things, and I say ethical because I've not tried to mislead anybody. I've said this many a times. If me being at this stage in life were to pass on bad information, that speaks bad for me. That says that I'm just this old goddamn fool who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, what I'm going to do also in this segment of the Gig Geezer, I want to talk about as well, just some people have this impression that delivery and transport is some real easy work, meaning that all you have to do is show up, you open your door, and somebody puts in whatever it is, you go to the drop-off location, and there's somebody waiting to take it out of your vehicle. That can't happen. It is possible. That can't happen. It is possible. There are situations, they call it no touch freight. But there are situations as well when you're working gig apps, or for that matter, in certain low board based opportunities. You got to do the work. As in this case here, as you see, as I put in here the inset, this was this morning 25 bags of mulch. Now, the amount that I earned is probably more than what most people have been seeing on the apps, but I know from experience from 2 years ago that the apps are paying 3 times as much for the same work. The reason why I did it today, you may say I called it Thirsty Friday, but in part, I'm local today. I'm in Columbia, and so I need also to generate some cash flow for the beginning of the week. I've got money coming in. I've got money earned, but that money's coming in next week. I need some cash flow. And one of the ways I'm looking at gig apps now is a way of taking care of cash flow. This is something that I've recognized for years now, but this is something that I'm communicating here on the Gig Geezer channel for the first time, how I see gig apps as a form of cash flow because of the immediacy or the relatively short turnaround of the money that you would see deposited into your checking account. Kind of like on the gig food delivery side, because that's money that you can access the same day. All right, so the second delivery opportunity is going to be one of these little kid pools, plastic pools, and the item supposedly weighs 52 pounds, but obviously it's something that if you're used to doing this type of work, it's something that you can carry in one hand, prop it up on your shoulder, and walk to the door, place it down, take a picture, and move on to the next opportunity. The pace by which things have been appearing on the app today has been at a very slow pace. It could be that, I don't know, but it appears that it's at a very slow pace. But be that as it may, what I want to also show you is another example of the type of work that could be done if you're in delivery and transport. This comes from Wednesday when I did a cash game opportunity working out of my box truck. And in this particular opportunity, I agreed to remove some furniture items. It was 3. It was 2 sectionals, a sofa, and a king size. It was a twin size box spring, and it took me less than 15 minutes to do. Initially, I showed this on my weekly live stream on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock Eastern. I showed the entire. If you want to see the entire length, check out this live stream from Wednesday, April 16, 2025. 12 minutes total of me doing the actual work. What I'm showing here are just the clips of having put the items onto the box truck and then eventually doing delivery and transport, can it be easy? Yeah, I guess you could say it can be easy. Jokingly, sometimes I'll say it's easy fucking money, in that you go to a pickup situation, it's just an item this big, and that's what you're transporting. And that's happened twice, whereas an item like this size, at the most, the weight of a bowling ball for me, 16 pounds. And one time I took something to Florida, to South Florida. The other time I took it to Atlanta. I took something like that to Atlanta. Those opportunities do happen like that. But then there are other times the van is filled up. It's filled up, man. But the thing is, you can make things easy on yourself. There are ways of making things easy on yourself. In terms of, do you, for example, accept a gig app opportunity where you're having to, you may have it loaded onto your vehicle by forklift, but you're having to remove and place 50 boxes of flooring or 50 boxes of tile for $35, $40. Is that what you call easy work? Some say, well, that's just all a part of what you're doing if you're operating if you're having a business. Okay, you may be right, but I would say that's dumb money earned, because there's only one of you. I keep saying that there's only one of you, man, and we can talk about how gig apps make the best of you, take the best. They can get the best of you. They're trying to get the best out of you, and that how they justify what you're paid certainly is still, well, I'll just put it like this. There are people now who are saying, yeah, gig apps are misleading, gig apps are deceptive, gig apps aren't what they all cracked up to be. I've often said that, I've been asked oftentimes, can you make money doing this? I say it's how you go about doing things. You can make money, but it's all in how you go about doing things. There's a strategy. Now, there are people who divulge things that may be how you go about doing things. I've not divulged all those things, and may not ever divulge all those things. But I would just say that you have to come up with a strategy that works for you, in which it allows you to maximize the type of maximize the earnings that you may make per opportunity. It's several days later, and I'm just getting around to finishing up this specific segment of the Gig Geezer. And as I've said often occasions, particularly in private, when I refer to my experience working in car sales and in insurance, I've always told folk that I've never allowed my wallet to dictate how I go about doing business with a customer. Now, how does that translate into content, YouTube content? Well, I would love for my channel to do way better than it does on the monetization front. I wish it would do way better. I've never let those monetization goals get in the way of being responsible about and for the content that I upload here on the Gig Geezer channel. So then, what does that mean to you, the viewer? I'm going to say it just like this. Don't let your ignorance and your thirst fuck you over. I'll repeat. Don't let your ignorance and thirst fuck you over. Don't let your insatiable desire to earn money and get out here as fast as you can, at least what you believe to make money, fuck you over. There are many ways of earning money out here. My best suggestion to you is to find the one that works best for you, the one that suits you best, the one that matches up with you the best. And with that, that's all I have to share for this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, Hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm in Wood Lane as always. May your grind and may your hustle continue.